Give me a second. I can't freaking read. We're back again to play some games. We're back with Ikemen Sengoku. And the last time, on our way to the hot spring, we met some kids and Nobunaga taught them how to hunt. And then he also taught me how to ride a horse. And then we finally made it to the hot springs. And this guy gets into the hot spring with me. So we're in that type of situation. So before we start, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow me on my social media. It's always in the description below, and we can get started. Nobunaga, Chapter 4. You're back. What are you doing here? I've been enjoying a peaceful soak in the hot springs. Nobunaga, dressed in a light cotton robe, carried a tray in one hand and was standing tall over the edge of the spring. What else would I be doing here but bathing? This is the reason I came. Yeah, but you might notice the hot springs are currently in use. By me, because I'm bathing in them, but not for much longer because you're standing there. I got ready to get out in case he had the foolish idea of joining me, but I wouldn't bother. Nobunaga caught my dripping arm and holding it firm in his hand. His eyes were frigid, but the touch of his hand was hotter than the water. Leaning on his knees, Nobunaga drew close to me. Your hand is mine. I suppose you'll have to stay with it. Oh, we're going back to Strip Go, are we? I figured he'd try something at the hot springs. I was exhausted from the ride, and Nobunaga kissed my hand was an injection of therapeutic heat. Whatever. Still, I wonder how much he intended to take this. I'm not holding your hand while I'm in hot springs. That's weird. You can run, but I'll catch you. You can't catch me. I'm speedy like Sonic. Or weren't you listening to what I told Taichi this morning? Oh, excuse me? Dom, the prey he was talking about? In a real hunt, once your prey spots you, it will attempt to flee. If you want to land a killing blow, you'll need to drive it to a place where it can't escape. Remembering his lesson was like a magical spell. I was only aware of the steam of the hot springs and the beating of my heart. So I'm cornered. What are you gonna do? Do you really need me to spell it out for you? He kissed my ear next, his teeth lightly grazing the lobe. I shivered, disturbed by the water. Cool drops of condensing dripped from my hair and slid down my body like little thrills. He's good at this. Damn him. Even if he wasn't, my body was too stiff to move. He kissed my hand again, delivering tiny nips along my fingers. My alone time at the hot spring had become Nobunaga time. Yeah, I couldn't really complain. Maybe, just maybe, I need this. But I'm not doing this. Alright, cut it out. I'm still bathing. My voice croaked. Nobunaga donned a wary smile. A little weaker than your usual protest, but as you wish. My message got through to him. He let go of my wrist and I settled back into the water. Nobunaga indicated the tray just sat down at the edge of the spring. The innkeeper brought this to our room. I won't drink tonight. You have it. Wait a second. What exactly did you come out here to do? I came to bring you the sake. Didn't you notice the tray? Or do you truly need me to spell it out for you? Gah. Play with my expectations like that. Talk as long as you like, Lauren. With a smile, Nobunaga left. He was so frustrating. I stuck my head halfway into the water, blowing out my expiration with a steam of bubbles. Still, did my mind really go there? No, he was clearly baiting me. But I couldn't get angry at him, not the way I used to. And that realization vexed me. Nobunaga had only touched my hand in my ear, the spots he had conquered in our game ago. He always kept to rules, though maybe I should have added a don't drag me crazy rule. I remembered the innocent smile he showed me on the cliffs. I didn't need to touch the sake he'd brought me. I already felt like I was drunk. Oh, someone's in a hurry to start. When I returned to my room, Nobunaga was there, sitting by the lantern with a go-ban in front of him. You're back. let's begin. It's been too long since our last game. Sure, whatever. Nobunaga did mention we'd have a game tonight. First, I need to know where you pulled that go bun out of. I know you didn't pack it. I had the innkeeper ready one. Now sit. Okay. As gracefully as I could, for all the bumps and bruises on my ride, I sat down in front of the board. Nobunaga wasted no time in starting the game, but I couldn't concentrate. There was no way I could play a good game like this. The inn was silent. It was just Nobunaga and I in a small room. There was only one futon. Don't let that distract you, Lori. Too much is riding on this. I can't have Nobunaga increase his territory unchecked. At least, not until I've secured my safe passage to the present. I was just placing pieces willy-nilly, but Nobunaga looked impressed. Oh, you're taking a shrewd offense now? Oh, yes. Well, I haven't stopped practicing with Miss Nare, you know. That was lucky. Maybe it's starting to become second nature. If that's the case, I still have a shot. But every gain I made was swept away soon enough. Things were now looking worse. Have you had a chance to use the hot springs? We can put the game aside if you haven't. Why do you ask? No reason. It's just that's what we came here for, isn't it? So we should take a nice long bath. Don't fret. I'll visit the springs once our game is over. Darn. I was planning to fall asleep while he was away. I sighed, but another idea popped into my head. By the way, where did you say you were injured? What? You look pretty healthy to me. What with all the rock throwing and horseback riding today? You'll find out soon. That's suspicious. That's weird. It's been your turn for a while now. Make your move. Right. What was he getting at by saying I'll find out? Does it get worse at night? Has he been fighting the pain? Will he turn into a wolf? He kinda looks like a wolf. His eyes never left the board. His fingers toyed with the black stone. I just don't know. I thought I could read him, but I can't. Though I didn't have to wonder long to find out what was on his mind. After a few minutes, I suffered a smashing defeat. You put up a praiseworthy fight tonight. Your improvement is notable. Well, thank you for saying that. He was thinking about how to beat me, obviously. He couldn't possibly have anything else on his mind. Now, come sit beside me. Whatever. Toe? Did I just say toe? In your bath? Come. The man wrapped his arms around me, and I found myself being urged closer. You're so warm and cripes, where are we going? He turned, laying me back on the futon while I hastily sat up. You said you were going to visit the springs after our game. I changed my mind. I want time with you first. We are not sharing this futon. How do I call housekeeping for another? His eyes showed that strange sense of humor. Nobunaga held a hand over me as though trying to decide. Eventually, he chose my soft and puffy toes. Taking one of his fingers, he pinched it gently, there thoughtfully running a rough fingertip over it. That tickles. I'm sure it does. But that's too bad. This part of you is mine now. What? The toes of the hole. His hand moved to my ankle, and he lifted my foot close to his handsome, intent face. Nobunaga brought a foot to his lips and lightly kissed my pinky toe. He closed his teeth on it gently. he's a feet guy. Nobunaga's a feet kind of guy. No shame, no judgment. No judgment. But he's a feet guy. The feeling was so intense I couldn't speak for a moment. Ah, I chose well. And she's a feet girl, I guess. No shame. But she's a feet girl. I can't argue that. He kissed the arch of my foot, his lips making a soft sound against it that I barely heard over the sound I made in response. My body hitched in response, and I grabbed the futon hard to avoid kicking Nobunaga in the teeth. But he's just going to toilet my... Give me a second. I can't freaking read. but he's just gonna toy at my toes for a time because it's fun for him to wind me up and then stop. I know how these sessions of ours go. You've gone quiet. Am I boring you? His voice was deep and the sound of it thrummed inside me. Nobunaga lifted the hem of my kimono. He exposed my leg clear up to the thigh, still glowing from the bath. Hey, exactly how much territory are you claiming this time? No further than this, for now. The whole leg. This could be bad, very bad. Nobunaga brought his lips to my warm skin and I had to close my eyes at the sensation. I'm stressed. I'm stressing out. I want to read this. His tongue trailed slowly higher, pulsing against me, causing sparks of electricity to race up my body. Oh my god. I gripped and squeezed the futon to keep from grabbing a handful of his hair. I find my new conquest very satisfying. Just keep south of the border. He nibbled on the skin just above my knee, a sensitive patch that made me writher. Then I glanced at his face. He looked intent, focused, like he had been hunting that rabbit. I squeezed my legs together, halting his progress for the moment. Are you ready to stop so soon? Yes, please. This is just a diversion for you, isn't it? Part of the game. I was having a hard time keeping my breath steady enough to talk. What's strange about that? I crush all who oppose me, and the more I touch you, the more I see you threaten to fall to pieces. Resting an arm on his knee, Nobunaga looked directly at me. There was no passion in his dark eyes, no excitement or involvement. He really just sees me as a challenge. The only one starting to doubt what this relationship was about was me. It was like getting splashed with cold water. Or do I believe that? Are we really just using each other for pleasure? Or is there more? I don't care, get me out of here. I had reached out to touch his cheek without thinking. Nobunaga stared at me as I brushed my finger over his face. What is this? Your eyes are always so cold, Nobunaga. What are you talking about? Let's talk about it. Your eyes are always so cold, Nobunaga. What are you talking about? You think nothing about taking lives. Yet you have stopped to teach those children skills that would help them survive. And when you taught me horseback riding, we survived that encounter with that cliff. You smiled so innocently. The more I learn about you, the more I think I'll never understand you. Nobunaga's silence seemed to indicate he thought that was just fine. And I would think that too. You'd just be a wild, incomprehensible, frustrating, and short-lived period of my life. But I find it hard to look away from you. Why are you telling me this? I don't know why. There was a moment of silence between us. I looked into his eyes. They reminded me of a starless sky. Nobunaga's hands fell away and looked back at me. I wondered what he saw in my eyes. But I found my reflection in the gleam of his. I thought I saw something stir behind them. We're separated by half a millennium. It's no surprise that I can't understand you, but right now I want to. I couldn't say why I did, not when I had wanted nothing to do with him at first. But then the door rattled. Nobunaga was alert. He turned towards the screen. Okay, what was that sound? It was worryingly louder than the sound of the wind. Tonight's pleasure ends here. What's going on? Nobunaga placed a swift kiss on my thigh. I'm putting off the rest of my conquests for another night. He stood up with a smile. That is not what I wanted to know. As I attempted to follow him up, the screen door split in two, falling apart with clatter. 3 men, garbed entirely in black, leaped into the room. Nobunaga, prepare yourself. You finally decided to show up. He wasn't waiting for this, was he? The lamp light flickered, casting a dancing glow on the swords of the men. Nobunaga was calm as he drew a short sword out of his kimono. You'd be ashamed of yourself, attacking a man taking his evening pleasure. Yeah, you obviously lack a skill to please a woman. Go ahead, prattle on. The man swung his sword down, aiming for Nobunaga's head. Watch out! Nobunaga didn't seem to need my warning. He easily blocked the man's strike. With snake-like swiftness, he knocked the man's sword away and had his pointed at the attacker's throat. You lack follow-through. Has no one taught you to fight? Ugh. Die, tyrant. Nobunaga turned and drove an elbow into the face of a man charging next. The man fell backwards onto the floor and the other two seemed stunned. Are you taking turns? Fight me like you mean it. He's just gonna make them angry. Damn it. The remaining two raised their swords and prepared to charge in and win. See, everybody, it's a party. It's a party. Everybody's freaking hand. Stop right there. Hideyoshi and Mitsunari came through the remains of the door. What is this, a convention? Exactly. What is this, a convention? My lord, were you injured? As you can see, I'm unhurt. Hideyoshi and Mitsunari are here? He's supposed to be alone. Alone? No, we were waiting for you to show up. Then, this wasn't a retreat at all? It was a setup for a punchline on duct tape. You idiots fell right into the trap. Gah! Hideyoshi and Mitsunari knocked out the two still standing. They disarmed the man and tied them up. I'm sorry if this startled you, Lauren. I'm fine. I just want a full explanation. I got up off the futon and approached Mitsunari. He looked remorseful. I apologized for not explaining everything beforehand. This trip was a ruse to draw out Lord Nobunaga's enemies. So what was I doing here? Shielding his short sword with a calm expression, Nobunaga cast unfeeling eyes upon me. You played your part well. I congratulate you. Well, I will uppercut you so fast. Quiet, you. I want to hear the rest of the explanation. Remember the council? That the men who tried to assassinate Lord Nobunaga escaped? I couldn't possibly forget. I remember. Don't show me. Information revealed that there was a small group intent on keeping their identities secret. In order to get them to reveal themselves, Lord Nobunaga volunteered himself as bait. The whole time we were here, we were just bait for the assassins? I would have liked to know that. Your injury, was that real? No. As I said before, I am unhurt. Something about Nobunaga's calm expression caused me to flip. Why didn't you tell me any of this? Why am I too? I only speak the truth. That was me. I didn't believe we could trust you not to slip information to our Lord's enemies. I thought we were becoming friends, but Hideyoshi still doesn't trust me. I had to admit, that hurt. I can't believe you thought I'd do that, Hideyoshi. I'm sorry it had to be this way. Forgive me. When we return to the castle, I'll do whatever I can to make it up to you. Hideyoshi patted my head. Begrudgingly, I let him. Don't touch me. It was a fine retreat, although my entertainment was cut short, boy. Hey, not for the Hideyoshi and Mitsunari, okay? Nobunaga's smile made me remember how I've been feeling when we come to the abrupt stop. It was not what I expected from the hot spring vacation. All of us turned in the direction of the sound. The assassin with the bloody nose was shaking his head, trying to wake up. Oh, poor guy. That looks painful. He met my gaze and began to crawl towards me. I'm sorry. I apologize for everything. I'll do anything you ask. Just spare me. I looked over at Nobunaga before looking back at the man. I feel bad for him. I like to help, but he's asking the wrong person. The wild look in his eyes made me shrink back. He grabbed my ankle. But then faster than I could see, Nobunaga drew his short sword. Don't touch her. Okay. That was a hot spring trip. It was a setup for Nobunaga's enemies. I'm going to ignore the whole foot and leg stuff because I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that at all. But anyway, it was a setup for his enemies. He wasn't actually hurt. What the heck is his name? Hideyoshi. He still don't trust me. I didn't want to be his friend anyway. We almost had a touching kind of moment with Nobunaga when I touched his face and he stopped moving. There was kind of a moment there that I actually enjoyed. but everything else is for the birds. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on my social media. It's always in the description below, and I will see you guys tomorrow with I don't know, either A3 or Havenless. I'm not sure. But yeah. Bye bye.